Oh, my hands are stuck.
Reality, if you want to sit next to... Okay.
Where'd she go? Oh, that's fine. That's weird. I remember the hands getting stuck before. That's really weird. I can't move my hands for some reason.
That's really weird.
That is weird. It did some updates to the avatar a little bit, so there's probably something that he did for that. I would assume. It's not too big of a deal.
Okay, everybody, welcome. So we have a tradition here that we always start our session with a dedication. So I just invite you to think about what I'm about to say and dedicate it to yourself in whatever way feels good. So here we are taking some time, and we want to dedicate this time that it's helpful for us. And as we become kinder, stronger, wiser people, that it's helpful for our family and for our friends. Or even helpful to our community, or to the world around us, or even the whole world. Let's dedicate this time that it lets us dream big, and that we bring enthusiasm and power to each moment. Okay, so welcome everybody. For those of you who are regulars, I'm going to try to give us something epic tonight. For those of you who are new, I just invite you to enjoy. So I've spent a lot of these sessions talking about how we can transform ourselves. With meditation, you can train yourself to feel deeply peaceful internally. You can train yourself to be more mindful and aware. You can do kindness meditation and teach yourself to be more loving and kind. You can do positive thinking and teach yourself what it is to be relaxed in social situations, or to be confident and expressive, or to be better at sports, or any part of your life. You can train yourself to be better. So we spent a lot of time talking about that and doing some meditations around it. And this week I was guiding a kindness meditation for the people I live with. And we just decided, or I decided, to just run with it. And I was saying, okay, feel into kindness and compassion. Feel love and kindness for everybody here. Feel love and kindness for the whole world. And now imagine if you were the most loving, kind being in the universe. And, these words just kind of came out. I was just like letting myself be creative. But then when I tried to imagine what that was like, it was beautiful. And I saw all the ways where I could easily put a bunch more love and kindness into the way I talked with people and the way I related to people who were doing things that I thought were dangerous. And I was like, wow, there's just so much more beauty that I'm opening up to right now. So that inspired my theme for tonight. I want to do a bunch of little mini meditations where I let us imagine and practice being awesome. So for some of you who are regulars here, diving into enlightenment, beautiful. For some of you who are regulars here, maybe the things I invite you to imagine might be bigger than what you can imagine now, or what your self-image thinks it can imagine. So I'm going to try and guide us up to those epic states. So I won't just say, imagine, the most loving being in the universe. I'll work our way up to it. And for everybody, I do want you just to think of this time as exploring your imagination, exploring what it is to create new feelings and practice things. And in between each of the meditations, I want us to have discussions and be engaging. And if you're totally new to meditation, just try and make the most of it. Think of this as exploring your creativity. Reality, did you have a question?
No, I just have Tourette's.
Oh, okay. Thanks for explaining. So yeah, if you want to ask a question, make it really big so I can tell. All right. So we're going to dive straight into our journey. If you're brand new to meditation, I just invite you to get comfortable and think to yourself, okay, I'm going to just take some time to calm my mind down and explore what I can do with my imagination. And as we think about calming down our mind, let your breathing start to slow down. And we do that because it relaxes our body, which also then relaxes our mind. So take some deeper breaths, fill up your lungs, and you notice that my voice is also slowed down. So let your inner voice sound more soothing. Some of you will just be hearing the breath. You've been practicing immersing yourself in feeling each moment of the peaceful breath. So let each breath feel even better. And if you're new to meditation, you're thinking things or you're noticing your mind, just let it be beautiful to watch how amazing your mind is. Maybe your eyes are closed, and yet you are maybe still imagining and seeing things in your mind. Maybe you're thinking different words. Your mind is such an amazing, beautiful place when you pay close attention to it. So just let yourself aware of your consciousness. Enjoy your consciousness. And each slow, deep breath you take, let each little part of your mind become more peaceful. Deeper into stillness. Take an extra deep breath and let yourself go even deeper. For some people, going deeper into meditation is the different parts of their body getting more relaxed. Some people feel like every muscle in their body has let go. Perfect peace in their body. And as your mind moves around your body, every place that you feel it relaxing more fully, more completely. Little by little, you feel your mind and body becoming more still, more peaceful. For some people, going deeper into meditation they feel a sense of calm or peace or a mental quiet. The mind gets to relax. Some people feel expansive, like their awareness is as big as the room. Or as big as the universe. Some people, as they go deeper into meditation, feel more empowered. Like anything positive that they imagined or thought about would instantly transform them. Like they could look into their mind and see exactly what's going on with peace, with loving kindness, and just make anything feel better, or be transformed. So as you keep taking deeper breaths, just letting yourself feel deeper and deeper in meditation, whichever way feels good for you. And for the last part of this meditation, you can just enjoy what you created. Enjoy what you feel. Enjoy what you notice. And you could imagine for the rest of this evening, this journey into awesomeness, strength, enlightenment, that you're going to make it beautiful. You're going to make it great. And you can finish the meditation however you'd like. Maybe you want to just gently re-energize yourself. Maybe you want to watch your breath and then watch when you decide to open the eyes, and then watch where your attention goes. Maybe you want to just keep thinking and feeling the positive parts that stand out from the meditation. Or maybe you want to stretch or smile. So just bringing yourself from the meditation back into the temple. All right. So I'd love to hear any thoughts, anything you'd like to share about how that felt. Some of you, maybe it was a nice surprise. Some of you might have had some insights or an experience you'd like to share. Creek, you'd like to share?
Yeah. I love you, my friend.
Yeah, I love you too.
And all of you sitting here, I love you, my friends. Thank you for being.
A lot of people find after sitting, just really positive, nice things arise. So thanks for sharing, Creek. Reality had a question or a comment or something?
My Tourette's feels better.
Great. Yeah, people often find that letting your mind be really calm has all kinds of positive, helpful things it can do for your body and for your nerves and for your mind. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Letting go of the urge to tick can be hard, but relaxing helps.
Thank you for sharing. And meditation also, it's an ongoing practice. Like imagine the first time you went to dance and then you got into it and you're like, oh, that was pretty good. And afterwards you'll feel happy. But if you go dancing regularly, you start to train the moves into your body and you can explore it even more. And the same with meditation. The calm that you made when you practice, you can feel even deeper calm, and your body starts to learn that calm and your mind learns that calm. And it can actually really transform the habits of the body and the mind. Spicy, you had something you wanted to share?
When you said how meditation can, transform the habits of the body and mind, I actually have a good experience with that today, actually. During the weekends, I usually don't engage in skillful practices, as Creek likes to say.
I'm doing a
meditation,
class,
but during the
Marcella.
week, I come to these sessions and
I'm teaching a
a day
class.
or two, spend some time to meditate. Today in particular, I encountered a kind of a stressful situation. I don't want to get into too much detail about it. However, normally, before I was started to delve into these practices, when I would encounter a stressful situation, the anxiety of that situation would be like an off switch. I would shut down, not want to deal with the problem at hand. But when this particular situation happened, I was able to almost in a mental way step back from the situation and be like, oh, I need to deal with this right now, and then I was actually able to tackle that problem head on, and I was able to fix the issue that popped up. So I'm pretty happy about that.
That's such a great story. Some people would hear that story and say, oh, well, that's dealing with one issue. But, life is just all these different situations. And if you can go through and be more present with each one and more empowered, over time, that just keeps your life getting better and better. And so when I hear you share that, that just really touches my heart.
Thank you. It was a really touching thing for me too. I know that before I wouldn't have, reacted in a way that wouldn't have been conducive to fixing the situation at hand. But it was nice to know that I was able to actually deal with an issue for once without putting it off until the very last minute. And it was a very it's a small thing, but it's impactful. And I look forward to seeing where it'll take me further.
Awesome. Yeah, and that shutting down or your brain just avoiding things, the fact that you can notice it, and rather than letting that other program just overpower you, you getting to then choose what you want to do instead. I love that. Some people call that mindfulness or awareness of yourself and empowerment. And yeah, some of our meditations today are going to be practicing or being more of that mindful creator, more of that you being the one that's in control of yourself.
I look forward to it, honestly.
So I was thinking of a different order of things, but the fact that we've had that great story, I think I'm going to do now an epic meditation around mindfulness. So, everybody, have a quick stretch. Pump your arms and your body and your shoulders a little bit. Squeeze your hands. Squeeze your hands. Make tight fingers and then relax them. Pump your biceps. Hold them tight and then relax them. Squeeze your toes and your feet and then relax them. Squeeze your knees and your thighs and then relax them. Squeeze the muscles in your tummy and your chest and then relax them. Pull your shoulders back and then relax it. And just notice what it was to engage the whole body and then relax it. And take a slow, deep breath. And take another slow, deep breath. And when you breathe out slowly, imagine letting go much more deeply. Feel the top of your head and the forehead and the nose and the jaw and the ears and the back of the neck. And take a deep breath and just let your head feel more peaceful. And the neck and the shoulders. And in the next deep breath, you can feel the subtle movement in the shoulders. You can imagine the chest and the arms relaxing completely. The hands, the hips, the legs. If your eyes are open, you can feel them getting heavy and just closing naturally as we let the body relax and we let the outside world fade becoming more and more aware of just our mind. And now, as we practice some mindfulness, we're just going to notice what it is to move our attention. So, let yourself focus on the breath. Feel it coming in and out of the nose. Then notice what it feels like as you take your attention down into your toes. Some of you felt your attention move. Some of you just started to imagine the shape of your toes. Some of you would see your toes. Notice what your mind does. Then notice what it's like as you move your attention to your fingers. And now if we remember Spicy's story of noticing a reaction, an aversion reaction, noticing it, stepping out of it, and then choosing what to do instead. We're going to keep meditating and keep watching our mind, but every moment that you watch, feel empowered. Feel that you can always just step out and notice, and then be free. Free to choose peace or strength or focus or happiness. So we're going to just keep our attention in our breath, but just watch every moment of your attention and feel more empowered with every breath you take. Notice your mind more intricately, like you're looking at a beautiful painting, seeing every color, every shape, looking at the brush strokes. Watch your mind so closely. Imagine that you've completely mastered your attention. Anytime, any situation, you're always aware and you always chose where to take your attention. Imagine you'd mastered being able to drop into stillness and freedom. And as you take deeper breaths, notice your attention flowing in each moment of the breath. For some of you, the concentration may be longer than natural. So feel yourself making your concentration stronger. Every moment of the breath, aware of your consciousness. And now imagine bringing this awareness into your life. Anything where you might have felt some aversion, you just notice it and stop. Then choose. I can do this. I want to do this with strength and confidence. Imagine in any social situation, just choosing to be happy and relaxed and having fun. Imagine if the seeds of these suggestions completely blossomed. How good it would feel that any situation you come into, you felt great, you felt empowered, you felt at ease. Imagine as you notice your mind, any beliefs that you have about yourself, always able to just step out of them and be free. Always able to imagine and focus on whatever would be most empowering. So I'll give you just a minute for you to imagine a fully empowered person, a fully enlightened version of you. If you were to let go of all old habits and reactions and just be who you would really be, your true self in every moment, how much happiness would you choose? How much love would you choose? Just letting yourself imagine your ideal mindful self. And you can imagine in your day-to-day life ways that you can bring yourself back to awareness. What's it actually like to notice when you've had a reaction to something and to snap out of it, come back to being aware, and then choose what you want? What's some things you could do in the morning to set yourself up to have a mindful day? What's some things you could do in every meal to enjoy it, or to want the food that makes you as healthy as possible, or to set yourself up to move through your day with kindness, with strength, with wisdom? Make it real. Make what you're practicing real. And then just let your awareness come back to just your breath. We'll have a minute of just breathing, just awareness, just peacefulness, to let every part of that meditation sink in. A few more breaths. Watch your mind in every moment. On the next deep breath in, let's pull our shoulders up and back and relax. Sitting up straight, empowered, strong. And as you let your mind just come from that relaxed meditative state back into the temple, I'm just going to share a few thoughts, and then perhaps you could think of anything you'd also like to share. So my hope for every one of these sessions, my hope for tonight, is that you'll have experiences that transform you, where some part of your life will be much easier or much more amazing forever. And my hope is that during these sessions, you'll feel some of those and you'll see them. I also want to be realistic. My hope is that I'd like to give you hundreds of transformations. Some of you will feel hundreds tonight. Some of you will feel a few. Some of you will just glimpse some. But I know that every one of us, if we keep practicing positive feelings, practicing thinking in different ways, practicing going into relaxed states and freeing our mind, I know these transformations just get better and more powerful and easier and more beautiful. So if we remember the dedication that we started with tonight, that we're going to take the things we learn and make them awesome, anything that you glimpse tonight that's great, please give it some love and attention and imagine it every day until it's easy and it's beautiful for you. And if there's a moment where you're like, wow, I could be peaceful about that part of my life, let yourself feel it. Just crank up the volume to that thought. Let everything impact you as wildly as possible. Make these moments powerful for yourself. So, is there anything people would like to share from the meditation that we just did? I'll try and let everyone have a chance, and then people who've already spoken will come back. Spicy Neko, you've got something you want to share?
I do. There was two main things I wanted to point out from the second meditation session that we just completed. The first thing was I almost felt like I was like a lake with still water, with the reflections of the nature around it being perfectly like mirrored. Instead of being like a lake with turbulent waters, it was very still. And then the second thing I wanted to point out was I felt this incredible bountiful appreciation for 3 people in here, actually. For you, actually, because this is the second session I've been to with you, and you always do a fantastic job. For Creek, too, because, I like Creek a lot. He's a great teacher, too, and a great student as well. And then also my friend Reality, too, because she came here without really knowing, like, what she was getting into, and I'm happy that she's, like, getting something out of it and enjoying herself. And it's nice to just have that moment of appreciation for those types of things and recognize it. And that made me very happy.
Thank you for the kind words. And I'm so glad that you're sharing something with a friend and then that warms your heart.
Yes.
It's something that we could all do whenever we're practicing, is think about people that we care about and appreciate them, and maybe the peace that you just made, you'll be a little more peaceful with that person and they'll feel it as well. It's really beautiful that when we practice on ourselves, it actually really impacts everyone around us.
I completely agree.
Is that a hand up, Zelda? Reality, you'd like to share something?
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. Sorry. I was just saying that I appreciate coming here, even though I came in a little late today. Every little moment counts, just to catch up on refreshing myself with y'all, and it's just always nice to be here, even if it's virtual, to be able to release the daily repetitiveness that we all go through. But so good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for
Can you hear
coming.
me?
Absolutely, yeah. That was
Okay. Sorry,
great.
I thought my mic was like cutting out, but okay.
I like how you said it's precious. There's been chapters in my life where that has stood out so much more, how precious the meditation is, or when I go to a temple or some self-development group. Like, across the world, there's so many different influences you could have. And so where it's trying to bring you peace or confidence, like, that's so precious.
It is. It's definitely a precious moment to be spending, even if it's just 5 minutes. Every minute just doing this counts, because anxiety is a terrible thing, and to be able to do this after work's daily repetitiveness definitely helps me out in a big way. Thanks to you and Creek, and it's like Spicy Neko said, I agree.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Zelda, I want to say that you being here, you sharing, is changing all of our lives for the better. You
Thank you.
are infinitely precious as well. Thank you.
Oh, God, don't blush you.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that is a great jumping point to our next epic meditation. So I want everyone to put your hands on your heart, whether you're in VR or at home. Let's all just put our hands on our heart. Close your eyes and take a deep, smiling breath. And the people who just shared, maybe you know them, and seeing them caring is just really heartwarming. Maybe they're brand new to you, and still seeing them caring for each other is heartwarming. Maybe you can think about the positive things you're cultivating tonight. Peace or calm, kindness. And let that be heartwarming. And then you could think about your close friends or family. You can imagine next time you see them, you'll have more joy and more calm. And they will feel more joy and more calm. And take some deep breaths and just let yourself feel the love and the care and the positivity that you have for the people in your life. And people have found that if they do kindness meditation every day for about a month, then they feel just love and kindness and perfect understanding for everyone. So as you keep thinking of the people in your life, imagine that the kindness that you've cultivated is just so beautiful, that every moment with them was just so beautiful. That you are always understanding and patient. That you're always strong if there was ever a disagreement. That you could share what you wanted to share in the most beautiful way that they would hear so well. You could make things better for everybody. And now imagine going through your day, everywhere you go, everyone you saw, you just looked at them and you just wished for them to be happy. Everyone that you saw, your heart just felt full of warmth and love. And you just wanted people to feel great and loving and empowered and positive. Imagine how good that would feel. Imagine if you kept practicing and it just became obvious to everybody in your community that you were just so wildly loving and compassionate. You're the most compassionate, wonderful being around. Imagine what it would be like to be the most loving, kind being in the whole world. That every word you ever said or typed would impact others in beautiful ways. You uplifted people, encouraged people, even people you completely disagreed with. You said it in a way that they heard you and they felt cared for, and you helped bring understanding and peace everywhere. And you helped others to feel loving and warmth. Just this fountain of love and kindness. Take some deeper breaths and let yourself feel or think or imagine whatever would be most helpful for you right now on your journey into love and kindness. Now, as we do this loving kindness meditation, think about the nicest feelings you just imagined. Or if you've just arrived, think about the best time you have with your friends or your family. The times that are full of love and joy. And imagine just making that feeling bigger and brighter. Make the smile bigger. Make the warmth in your heart more beautiful. And then imagine it feeling even better. Flowing through your body. A happiness, a kindness, an epiphany of knowing that you want every impact you have on the universe to make it more beautiful. Imagining doubling that positive feeling. Let yourself imagine if you were going to be the most loving being in the universe. What would you have to practice? What would you have to think? Maybe you could imagine all the love of the universe flowing into you like a bright waterfall of light. Maybe you could imagine every kind word just being part of how you think in every moment. Maybe you could imagine every thought that you ever have is just so helpful to you and so helpful to everyone. Just letting yourself flow into being the most loving being you can. It brings you joy, it brings you strength, it brings you humor and beauty and warmth. Imagine if every day you'd done this meditation and you felt it more beautifully and more powerfully every day. Just all the time, it's just part of you being the most loving being you can. And you shape that love to be transformative. You shape it to be strong, helping people to stand up for what's true and what's right. Helping people to build bridges, to be understanding. As you're taking strong breaths, imagine your most wise, powerful, loving self. For the last couple of minutes of this loving kindness meditation, make it precious. Make every moment you practicing being as kind and warm as you can. Maybe you're expanding that out to all beings. You're loving to the entire universe, to every butterfly, every sheep, every bird, every cow, every person on the street, every child you laugh with, every grandma you walk by. Or maybe you're bringing it right back into your day-to-day, the people you see each day, your family, your friends, your co-workers, and you're just practicing being awesome with them, being warm, being kind, being wonderful. What would you say? How would you look at them? How would you listen to them? How curious would you be about who they are? Just letting yourself practice being awesomely loving, kind. And for the last few breaths of this loving kindness meditation, imagine if every little idea you just had was to blossom completely. Imagine if you practice this every day and just spent some time loving love, more automatically being warm and wise, understanding, kind and strong. You might like to bring your hands back to your heart. You might like to put a smile on your face. You could imagine the people you'll see today, tomorrow, this week, and imagine smiling at them. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can look around and have a smile and a moment of love for everybody that's here.
Guys,
Beautiful, isn't it?
I had the most random thought in my head. I was thinking of if anybody's seen Soul Eater, Excalibur was like talking about his dialogue, and you got the bartender like vigorously shaking
It's beautiful, isn't it?
the drink.
It is.
I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I've seen the show, but it sounds like it was good for you.
It's really funny.
I'm just making my Minecraft house right here. Don't mind me.
It's just a really random moment that I thought of while we were laughing at emojis randomly floating out.
That's wonderful.
Reality, would you like to share something from the meditation?
Yeah, I kind of had the thought that I think I'm naturally more loving in general, if that makes sense. I feel like I already have a habit of that, but I think I have a habit of feeling like I'm the only one. And I would like to be able to expand that to the people around me.
I feel you. Well,
Like I'm very accepting and loving of even people I disagree with, and I always wanna try to reach them.
my two thoughts about that is there are people around the world, millions of people, trying to cultivate being as loving as they can be. So to appreciate that they're out there is a wonderful thing. And with the people around you, there are people there who might not be great at showing it, but that are also trying. And there are also people who show it in just different ways to you. So the more we practice, the more we notice when someone is trying, and the more we can appreciate. And if you remember in our mindfulness meditation, we focused on our feet and then on our breath. You can only really notice so much. And so if you practice noticing the kind moments with the people around you, it'll get to a point where you'll just see there are so many, because you'll get better and better at noticing their beautiful moments. And
It's easy to forget that other people, feel love strongly just because there's so much negativity and yeah, I'd like to be able to notice that more.
one thing that helped me was when I noticed there's so many people that I care about and I think are great and I think about often, and how often do I tell them? It's nowhere near as much as I think that. And then I just realized like you were saying, just so much of other people around caring or thinking of one another. And there are even some cultures, I think, where I grew up, and definitely other parts of the world I visited, where you're not supposed to say nice things. And there's just so many people in the world full of love and kindness, and we just don't always have the opportunity to share it. And so that helps me feel the love and kindness from other people, even when they're not sharing it. And it also makes me want to help people have different ways of saying it and have different ways of showing it and find new ways to appreciate it.
I think trying to compliment people around you, even strangers, is a good habit. I mean, it's something that I used to be afraid to do, but I started thinking, if I tell them that I like something about them, the only thing that I'm putting out there is more love.
Hey, speaking of complimenting people you just met, Reality, you mentioning that you feel loving and kind towards others and understanding, I think that's beautiful. I straight away feel like you're such a sweet person, and I'm so glad that we've met briefly, and I'm glad you exist.
Thank you.
Spicy Neko, you got something you'd like to share?
I actually do want to add on to what she said, and also vocalize my appreciation for your Reality. I only see you on the weekends, when we hop on VR chat with our group of friends, but honestly, you're one of the main reasons why I always come on, and I always appreciate your presence, every time.
Well, same for me.
That means a lot. I think I remember you even said this past weekend, I was we were engaging in a unskillful practice. This is Creep likes to call it, but you said I'm 90% of the reason why you come on, and then it really meant a lot to me, honestly.
I tried to be more open when I have thoughts like that, especially when you realize that the only thing that person is going to feel is love, and so there's nothing to be embarrassed about sharing.
I always
care about
appreciate
people.
when you share those things, honestly. I hope the others do too, in our group of friends.
I would love to invite everybody here to think of some of your friends or family, and look how beautiful this was. Reality and Spicy just saying kind things to each other. And think of some of your friends or family, and as they come to mind, think about what's something kind or appreciative that you'd like to say to them. Does anyone else have any other experiences or loving kindness thoughts or something nice from the meditation they'd like to share? Or maybe we should just all have a love fest for a second. Everyone get your love emoji ready. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yay! Oh, that's beautiful to watch.
Something I'd like to share is that I've been practicing loving kindness intentionally for maybe 2 months now. And he mentioned how you can see a bit more deeply the way people share love, the multitudes of way people share love. I want you guys to know two things. One, when you share love with another person, it is profoundly changing their life in so many ways, almost without a doubt. And second, you can do nothing to hide how wonderfully bright love shines through you. It's amazing how much of our daily life we are shy. But even in shyness of what? Being so beautifully loving. Thank you, guys.
In my loving kindness journey, I could definitely say that after just a very short time, I felt that any person, anywhere in the world, no matter which subculture they're from or whatever they're doing, I just wanted to see every individual as unique and precious and just loving everybody. And now for some of us, that's obvious. Like, of course, that's how we should be. But then you look in the world, there's a lot of people who definitely don't have that. And they have judgments towards different groups or different countries. And I think a world where we all treat each other as individuals is just such a beautiful thing. And then a little while later, I expanded that from people to all the animals. And I also have a love for nature. Like, I try to care for the planet because I love it and I want a beautiful place for all of us. And the same with all the animals. Like, I try to make sure everything that I do is kind, and the impact that I have each day is that I'm aware every day of the impacts I have on others. And I try to make the world more loving and kind and peaceful for everybody. To the person who's outside, if you'd like to join us, we have some seats available. You're welcome. So before we dive into our next meditation, I just want to open it up to everybody. Maybe someone has something more to share from the meditation, or maybe have questions about meditation or about applying brain training to some part of your life, or about how to meditate better or how to do brain training better. If anyone has anything they want to share or any questions, love to hear from all of you. So I
guess I have a question if nobody...
Yeah, popcorn, please. Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful in the way that you explain it and, like, sharing love. But for me, like, when I try to look at it, like, rationally through, like, a more, like, a logical sense, like if I really enjoy working with a coworker and I express that in too much of, like, a heartfelt way and they don't, like, reciprocate the same feeling, it almost, like, puts, like, an awkward, like, tension between both of you and actually, like, sort of separates, like, the friendship more so than brings you, like, closer together, I feel like. So
Popcorn,
I don't really know the best way to do that.
I'm so glad you shared that and that you're keeping it real, because yeah, it's totally true, that can happen. I think with any person, no matter how their culture or their reaction is, there'll always be some way that they'll appreciate it. So I think in general, it's better to risk it. In a world where everybody was kinder, then there'd be more chances for people to have a caring time together, and people would be more used to it, so there'd be a lot less of those reactions. But also, if you know someone's got kind of a standoffish attitude, you can try to ask yourself, what would be the most, not just the most awesome way of sharing this, but what would be the way that they would find the most awesome way? And it's not even people with a standoff attitude. With every person, if you try to be creative, and when I share something, whether it's kindness or whether it's teaching them some computer programming or whether it's cooking some food together, like however you express yourself, if you try to imagine expressing in a way that the other person will receive it as good as possible, that is, it's a great skill to practice. So maybe your standoff coworker, maybe just being like, that was a good job, maybe that's enough for them to be like, wow, yeah. And they would feel good about working with you. I don't know your coworker, but I imagine that, and this has worked for me, if I imagine talking with someone and I imagine it going really well and them responding really well, then my brain kind of fills in the gaps of like, what would be the kind of thing that I'd say that would get that really great response? And I've done that a number of times where things were super bad with someone in my life. The communication just really wasn't working. And then I spent a week imagining that we'd have a really great outcome. And I just imagined their response being really awesome. And after like a week of doing that, I'd start coming up with much better ways of saying things. And then, keeping it real, I'm particularly thinking of one really bad situation I had. As I was imagining things going well, another part of my brain was like, but this person's just going to be blah, 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 blah. I don't need to do in the details. So what I did is I held in mind this image of them being blah, blah, blah. And I also held in mind it going really well. And while I held those two ideas together, my brain came up with the best ideas of what to say to really make things go well. So yeah.
Like finding a balance.
Well, actually, what happened in that situation was the thing that arose in my mind was just to say to them, hey, we both just want to be understood, and we can both hear each other calmly and clearly. And if we work out understanding each other, then things will just be so much easier and better. And I actually had to say that twice. The first time I tried it, they actually just stormed away. But the second time, they calmed right down, and we talked through things and explained things, and turned out we were actually kind of saying the same thing, but with just completely different words. So yeah, a balance is like, that's one thing that could happen. I don't want to just say that's the only way you could work it out. I'm just saying if you imagine it going really well and hold them in mind, you'll work out good things to say or good ways of saying it. I'm a really big believer in the power of our subconscious. So it's like a heat-seeking missile. If you imagine it'll go a bit awkwardly, your brain will come up with ideas that will make it a bit awkward. I really think that's how our brain works. The program that you put in, it comes up with the solution for it. And if you imagine it going great, your brain will look at everything it knows about that person, everything it knows about communication, and it will be much more likely to come up with a way of saying things that'll make things turn out great. And maybe you imagining your coworker and you having a great time, maybe the best you'll come up with is like a little smile or a nod of your head. But maybe you'll nod your head in a way where that person will be like, Yeah. I hope that's enough food for thought for now.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
I used to hang out with a lot of really tough, violent people. And yeah, I had to figure out ways of putting out good vibes where they weren't just going to like say something derogatory and beat me up. And yeah, there's ways of doing it. You'll find it. Reality?
You have to go to bed. I have to go to bed. I'm sorry.
It's been so good having you join us. Would you like me to do a little relaxation meditation and then you can just sneak out as soon as you like? Excellent. All right. So if you want to lie down for this meditation, feel free. Get yourself as relaxed or in like the most comfortable posture you can. And it's been great with everybody, so I really hope to see you all again. It's been really nice meeting everybody. And if in this meditation it's time to go to sleep, feel free to just sneak out and off you go to sleep whenever you feel. So everybody just get really comfortable. And we're going to do an intense thing to just make the relaxation happen. So close your eyes and squeeze your eyes closed. And squeeze up your nose and squeeze your mouth. Make it a smile and excitement and anger and joy. And feel the eye muscles around your eyes and stretch them too. Some of you can stretch your ears back and stretch your head back. And then clench up your shoulders and clench up your arms. Clench up your hands, clench up your chest and your back and your abdomen and your hips and your legs and your feet. Feel your whole body tense. Tense it all a little harder as you take a deep breath and just scan across your body, feeling the tension everywhere. If you find any muscles that aren't tense, tense them up too. Feeling the whole tension is making your body warm. You're going to sleep warm and cozy. Tense a little harder and take another deep breath. Fill up your lungs. Hold it all in. And then let it all go. Take another deep breath. And fill up your lungs. And remember what it felt like to let go. And let go again, even further. Take another slow deep breath and let go even further. And then imagine your mind letting go. Perfect stillness, perfect peace. You could imagine a big, beautiful lake. Little ripples on the water. It's not perfectly clear, but as the lake settles, the surface becomes still. The water settles, and you can start to see all the way to the bottom, crystal clear. And just imagine your whole self settling into perfect stillness, perfect peace. You can imagine tonight, whenever you go to sleep, that you'll guide yourself off into the most beautiful sleep, filled with positivity and kindness, and giving yourself the idea that you'll have dreams that make you even more empowered. All night long, your subconscious will be practicing you being amazing and feeling great. Take some deep breaths and imagine sleeping into the most beautiful feelings. And imagine if for the rest of your life, whenever it was time to sleep or relax, you just made it so cozy, so lovely. Every time you relaxed, you imagine that all of your wisdom will be growing and transforming in you. Beautiful, inspiring dreams, awesome thoughts, perfect peace, practicing awesome feelings. And you can scan your awareness across your body again. Feel every muscle. Feel the muscles that feel the best and enjoy those nice feelings. And if you find any other muscles, just let them relax completely too. And some people in deep relaxation feel like they're floating. Or some people feel like their body's expanding or disappearing. Some people feel beautiful colors flowing through their body. Some people feel waves of electric, magnetic sensations. Some people feel themselves in touch with perfect enlightenment, the wisest, most wonderful being inside themselves, inside all beings. So you could imagine that every time you go to sleep, you'll guide yourself off into the most cozy, beautiful, soul-feeding, heart-warming, beautiful relaxation. And you could imagine that every time you meditate, you'll let it be beautiful, heartwarming, wonderful. You feel yourself learning that anytime you need to take a relaxing breath, you could remember really beautiful feelings. You could feel that your idea of yourself at your core is this powerful, calm, centered, wise self. And in a moment we'll start to come out of the relaxation meditation. But before we do, just take a moment to remember the muscle tensing and relaxing, the letting go more, the letting go more. Remember whatever nice feelings you felt. And then together we'll all take a strong, energizing breath. Maybe you already felt invigorated from that powerful breath, but take another one and feel your body being more energized and more invigorated. as you start to feel your body energized and awake and refreshed. Also feel your mind empowered, free. Anything from tonight that it's shaken off, any thoughts or habits or beliefs from the past that didn't help you, that just gone. You're self-empowered and awesome and strong. Take one more deep, empowering breath. And then bring yourself back into the temple. I know I've said it a few times tonight, the power of practicing every day. And I mentioned doing kindness meditation every day, how it gets more and more amazing. Or breathing and mindfulness meditation, how you feel more empowered and more aware in so many more moments. And if you intentionally practice relaxing yourself deeply as you go to sleep, it's wild. It can retrain you that you can just sleep so well and so fast. And also, some of you felt that your body was tingling or expanding or some other wild sensations. Being able to remember those altered states of consciousness can take you into wild meditation faster and more powerfully. So, yeah, practicing intentionally guiding yourself into deep states or deep relaxation is another thing I'd recommend doing often. We have a few seats up the front. I'd love to invite people to move forward. Come on, Ekis, up you come. Oh. Awesome. It's been so great tonight to see that there were times where we didn't even all fit in the cushions. It's a real honor to be sharing with all of you. And I want to reiterate again, I said before that I hope tonight there's hundreds of moments that could impact you about how we feel, about how we think about ourselves, how we deal with this situation or that situation, our attitude towards how we are there or our attitude to how they are there, how good we are at that, how bad we were at that. There's so many places in your life where bringing awareness can beautifully transform it. And my hope is that I'm giving you hundreds of transformations or sowing the seeds for hundreds or thousands of transformations. That's really what I'm trying to create in this experience here. And I know it did it for me. I had thousands of things I transformed. Each time I wanted to transform something, I wrote it down and I practiced it a few times a day. And looking back 7 years later over thousands of these cards, I was like, yep, that's me. That's me. Oh my gosh, when I wrote this, it seemed impossible, but that's me now. And so I know that we can completely transform ourselves to the point where it becomes natural and easy and wonderful with the things you want to make better. So I hope not only have I given you some things that have transformed, given you some things that you're going to transform, but also inspired you that you can imagine and think of your best self, free to imagine your most strong self, your most brilliant self, your most skillful self, your most professional leadership self. I want you to be free to practice being amazing in whatever parts of your life you want to. I also want to talk about the idea of self-image. So it's great to imagine being something better. And the more you imagine that, the more it will change your feelings, and it will change your thoughts and change the habit. And it will also sink in and change who you think about, how you think about yourself. But if we can actively also imagine changing ourselves, there's something so powerful in that. Now, some people are like, hey, I don't want to change myself. So actually what I'm proposing is that there are some habits and some emotional reactions that you might have cultivated, but I don't think they're the real you. The real you is who you choose, if you're choosing to be as amazing as you could be. So yeah, I guess I want to rephrase transforming ourselves into actually just being the you that you would really choose. And so often people will have this idea of, hey, I'm like this. I am these habits that I've picked up. And what I really want, if your self-image, is that you are whatever you choose, that you are empowered, that you are amazing. When you think of your self-image, it's all the ability to transform and practice, to be vibrant, to be amazing. Maybe one month you want to imagine your self-image as the most extroverted party animal, that wherever you go, you're enlightening everybody and you make everybody laugh and dance. But then maybe next month you want to be the most serious, brilliant person ever. It doesn't have to be fixed, but I want you to feel like your self-image is awesome and able to transform. And when you decide you want to experiment with something, let yourself imagine as awesomely as you can. There's that saying, if you aim for the trees, maybe you'll reach the branch. But if you aim for the moon, even if you don't hit the moon, you'll be in outer space. And yeah, the same with when we envisage our life. I want us to be imagining being as awesome as possible. And not just for you, for the people around you. So often we kind of constrain each other. There are places in the world where you're not allowed to be too nice. And so everyone's like, no, can't be too nice. What's everyone going to think? And they might not even be consciously thinking that. They might just be feeling the pressure of it. And each time that you're nicer, you're a role model for niceness for all those people. And so you can transform that. And it's not just about niceness. How big your goals are, how excited you are, how positive you are, how much you dream that you can impact people, how good you are at sport. I know when I first started to trying to be positive, I was like, cool, I believe in brain programming. I'm going to make myself be really good at it. But then when I'd go out and play, there'd be another part of me that would be like, oh no, I've got to kind of just hold it back because, I can't just be as awesome as I imagine. And then I noticed that and I was like, okay, no, actually, I want to be as good as I can, because then it empowers everybody to play with as much fun and fullness as they can. And if you don't care about sport, think about how that could also apply to being expressive in your cooking, or giving the best hugs ever, or being as artistically as creative as possible. So I guess this section, what I've been trying to emphasize is two parts. Your self-image. Be the master of it. Create it. Notice it and shape it. That's one thing. And the second thing I wanted to say is dream big. Whether it's making your diet healthier, why not choose that you just totally love healthy food and you just eat super great in a way that's just easy and fun? Or if it's, I want to be a little more patient. You could actually choose, I'm going to be the most loving, kind, wonderful being the universe has ever known. So yeah, the two things is in this section was being aware of the power of our self-image and letting ourselves dream big or be great or be free. And yeah, as Popcorn said before, as you express with other people, trying to do that skillfully, absolutely, but still try and be as great as you can. Zelda, was that something you want to share?
Well, yes. I'm just kind of relating to an experience of this feeling of where there's going to be situations where you're being, you're in a good mood and you're going to be like, well, I'm going to be the nicest person there is today because no matter what mood people are in, I'm going to be nice to them. I'm going to try to get kindness back. There's going to be those type of people who make you feel bad for being kind or make you feel awkward for being kind. Kind of like what one of these people were mentioning about, being nice and then they make you feel uncomfortable for it. And so I've had those I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, not at all. I think like I said, you're keeping it real.
Yeah.
So the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear this situation, if I go back to what I was just saying about imagining being our best self and applying that to everything. So what would the wisest you do when someone talks like that?
Another thing is that when they made me feel uncomfortable for being overly kind or whatever, I just think to myself, maybe I should just tone it down a bit. But like you said, just be yourself and express yourself in the best way possible. And if people want to act negatively, let them.
So maybe maybe with those people, yeah, it's a call to try and figure out a different way of saying it. But please don't ever let that make you tone it down with other people.
Yeah.
Find the people who love that you're kind, and boom, you all get to be kind together. No one who holds us back should stop that from being like positive with all the people who would love the positivity. But I want to come back to my question before. Your wisest self. Imagine you were super resilient. No matter what they said, you were calm. And you could just think, okay, what do I want to do now? How do I want to respond? How do I want to think about what they said? What would be the wisest you that you could respond? I don't need an answer right now. I'm just the question. Ask yourself, how could I respond internally that would keep me strong and awesome in that situation? And now, I want to point out to everybody, what I'm saying now isn't just how to respond when someone brings you down for being kind. It's this idea of when you think about your mind, or you think about yourself, your emotions, your life, everything about you, if you just keep asking yourself, what would be the most brilliant way of being in that situation? Just phrasing that question and giving it some time, you're going to come up with awesome stuff. So, Zelda, I definitely want you to have time to imagine your awesome reaction to those situations. But stuff that comes to mind for me has been just the question of like, okay, next time, how do I say it in a way they'll like? Or then there's also like, how do I laugh in response to be cool with them? There's also, cool, I'm learning to be the most engaging person I can. I just like reframe it to be positive and helpful for myself. And I would love all of us to get to a point where no one can make you feel not great. that your inner strength and joy is unshakable. And if they say stuff, then you're just like, okay, well, how do I think about it and be better there? But you know, if anyone ever does make you not feel great, we're all here for a virtual hug or to tell you that you're great anytime you need. I think you're great. And I love everything you shared tonight. The times we've hung out, every time I appreciate you. I'm sure everybody here just wants you to feel loved and happy in yourself and awesome. Can we all send Zelda some kind of awesome, lovely emotion?
Thank you. It's hard to really think about in a way of this sort of concept. It's in that moment that you're put in that situation of having to think of something positive to do in return. It can be hard because you don't know exactly what to say right at that moment, because you have to build up the confidence that you were shot down from.
Zelda, I'm so glad that you're keeping it real. This is so good, because this is where the real enlightenment happens. You know, I can say these epic, awesome ideas, and if we don't bring it down into how do we apply it. So yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to say again, if we ask ourselves like how to be as awesome as possible, and we have this self-image that will be great, sometimes you'll look into that part of you and you'll come up with something great. Sometimes that'll happen. Other times you won't. But instead of like thinking of the self-confidence shot down, you're thinking, okay, what can I do in the future that will make me feel great and strong? And just by having that as your focus, you're going to think a whole bunch of different things. You're going to feel different in that situation, and your whole response will be different. And you might not come up with it for the first 5 times. And the 6th time you might try something, and some of them will be like, that's cool, and some of them will be like, that's weird. But it's like a step in the right direction. And then 2 months later, because you've been practicing that, boom, now you've got the thing you were practicing. And so once you decide, hey, I'm going to transform some part of your life, whether it goes good or bad, I kind of suggest just ignore that and keep your eye on the prize. I'm going to be awesome, and I'm going to feel awesome, and I'm going to make these great. And then that way, you're practicing feeling awesome and making it great.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask everybody. Zelda asked like a pretty tough question. How do we deal with stuff that's confronting or upsetting? The answer that I gave, does that feel like a good answer for you? And if not, I want you to ask yourself, what would your wisest self do? And sometimes it also helps to ask, what would the coolest person I know do? Or what would the wisest person, like one of my heroes, do? What would Benjamin Franklin do? Or what would the Buddha do? Because sometimes imagining how another personality would think or feel, it's easy. Sometimes it's easier to imagine that mindset, and then you can start practicing that mindset. So I think Spicy Neko was next.
I actually did want to add on a little bit to what she was saying and maybe like offer like a little perspective too. I definitely think the more that one cultivates mindfulness for themselves, the more that you can like also cultivate like the choice in which you respond to like various types of stimuli, whether it's like a good thing that someone responds to you in a certain way that maybe you like, or maybe in a way that someone or something responds to you that maybe you like don't like. It's like a very like powerful and self-actualizing thing when you like notice that you have the ability to like, in a way, like step away from it. Like not in that, you don't do it in like in a literal sense. It's like it's so subtle, but it really is a very profound thing where you can like be like, oh, I would normally react in this way, but no, instead I'm gonna actually like choose to do it like this way. That's like better, for myself and for the other person. I think.
Oh, and
Once you have that subtle profoundness, is when it just kind of clicks and makes sense. Ultimately,
sometimes we don't even know the better reaction straight away. Sometimes it's just stop. And then you're free to like think of some reactions and then pick one. That's okay too.
The best example I could give is like, let's say you have like in my experience, like I have like my father who tends to get like kind of angry, like he has a little bit of an anger issue. He doesn't like get physical or anything like that, but when he's at his work and something maybe doesn't go his way, he's like, God, blah 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 blah, just gets into like a type of like rage, for lack of a better word. But it'd be like if you saw somebody do that like consistently, but then like all of a sudden you see them, maybe they do something that would normally like cause them to respond in that way, but instead they're like, I'm gonna try it this way instead. It's so subtle, but once you understand that, it is incredibly profound. It's really incredible, honestly. I'm not even putting into words. I'm not even doing it justice.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you understand.
I've had passive aggressive sort of things at work from when I was a teenager, and when you're first time working, you're nervous about keeping your job. So people of higher status will find their way to be manipulative and undermine you or stuff when you're a first time worker. So I was like, overly kind, and I always said sorry way too much. And and then when I started looking at myself, I realized that I shouldn't say sorry because for being myself. They're always going to be in that mood, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I let it go, and I feel a lot better thinking in that sort of sense.
Well, I hope that you can be super empowered and make those situations better. And I also hope you can find situations where the people you're working with want to help you thrive and that you're all helping each other. A good team is, you deserve a good team.
Oh, indeed. And that was all in the past, but I'm just talking about my past life.
Mm-hmm.
But, I still work on not saying sorry too much, because, I don't know, I think it's maybe a Canadian side of me, but that's how it be.
Just a little side note before Creek's point. Zelda makes a really good point, that just conditioned to just say sorry, but noticing words that you use or noticing reactions that you have is really powerful. And then choosing how you want to react or how you want to speak.
Uh-oh. Oh,
no. He crashed.
No, I'm still here.
Oh.
I'm still here.
Saying a good message, too. Oh.
Wait.
Like, I was wanting to hear
Don't
it.
let him forget when he gets back.
All right, everyone on the live stream, that was weird. Here we go. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me now? Oh no.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so that
welcome back.
that was super weird because I could still hear and see all of you. I've never had an experience like that before. I was saying that noticing that the words you use, like saying sorry, has a certain vibe, and then choosing to use different words changes how you relate. And it's not just how you speak to others, noticing how you speak to yourself, or noticing how you think to yourself. It's really powerful. And sometimes, or often, it's really good to come up with what's the other words you have. Like, just saying sorry might be hard, but deciding, hey, when someone speaks like that, saying thank you might be great. Or saying yes might just be the thing you want to do. So coming up with your alternative is powerful. And the same with how you think about yourself. When you see yourself trying to do something and you do it a certain way, and then maybe in the past you're like, I'm so bad at that. So instead you could be like, oh, this is how I want to do that. So giving yourself that alternative and practicing it is a really powerful thing. So I'm just going to set up the camera for our last meditation. And how's that? Nope. 1 second. How's that? Here we go. All right. So I'm going to do some epicness now. Let me just check the time. Oh, we got 5 minutes. All right. So I'm going to do an epic closing meditation. Creek, is it quick?
Very quick. I want you guys to know that if you have expressed love to another person and they didn't reciprocate it, just know that your love isn't tarnished by the response of the world. It is so profoundly true to yourself, and you sharing it is also a gift to yourself, even if they don't see it.
And maybe internally they reciprocated it and they just didn't know how to say it.
Yes.
Cool. All right. I set up tonight to be about epic meditations, transformative practices, and enlightenment. So I wanted just to give us a couple of minutes to wrap it all up. So everybody take a very empowered posture. Sit up, shoulders back, chest up. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And quickly recap everything we did today. There was a deep meditation with the idea of being able to change your state of mind. Then there was a meditation on kindness and compassion, being loving for all beings. There was a meditation on mindfulness, being able to notice where your attention is and how you're thinking and how you're reacting in each moment. There was a deep relaxation, showing us that we can wildly change how we feel. We did deep peace, but there are also meditations on ecstatic happiness and wonderful joy and confidence. So I just invite you to imagine that you mastered all of these, that you truly felt completely free in every moment, every day. You had the self-image of an enlightened being. You think of yourself as someone who can practice and feel and be anything. When you think of what you do and how you are, you're a gift to the world. You're a being of joy and of love. Every day it gets better, more powerful, more beautiful. You are loved, you are cherished, you help others feel loved and cherished. The practices are precious. Taking time to watch your mind, taking time to practice being aware and stepping back, being free. Practicing being loving, practicing being awesome. It's precious. Give yourself that gift each day. See yourself as this enlightened being, the eye on the prize. Love it, feel it, live it. be it more every day. And as we finish the meditation, we all stand. And just dedicate this session, the time you took, appreciate it. Look around you. As we practice it, it helps the whole community. People here who've been practicing semi-regularly or regularly, you heard their stories, how helpful it was. Let's all practice and have beautiful stories for one another. Let's make it even bigger and brighter and more enlightening. So as we leave one by one, as you bow to the enlightened being at the back of the room, I want you to deeply and truly find the enlightened being within you. Bow to that. Be that. Have that moment and feel it. And then when you come out, bow to the crowd. Feel us. Team Awesome all together.
I love your avatar.
All right, a quick thought for everybody. If tonight's been awesome, please talk about your insights on the Discord. Let's inspire the whole group. There's 500 of us. And to everyone on the live stream, check out our Discord, join the community, come join us in VR, keep joining us on the live stream. It's good to be back. Sorry I was away for a couple of months. And for the last part, I'm going to go join the crowd and we're all going to bow to all the humans for all of eternity. Thanks for joining me.